Hello and welcome to the BR Connection. I'm Pat Riley and our host is our superintendent, Mr. Derek Swenson.
Hi, Pat.
Welcome. And our special guest today is our high school principal, Ms. Angela Watson. Thank you for coming, Ms. Watson.
Thank you so much, Pat. Welcome to be here.
I was, before the show, mentioning to Angela that besides the superintendent, probably the most difficult job is being high school principal. What a challenging position, really.
Well, I mean, you think about a high school and how much you have to take on in terms of not only academics, but the extracurricular and athletics and basically getting students ready for college and career. So Angela does a fabulous job. I've had the opportunity to work with her for the last 10 years now in the district. You know, she's a great colleague. She's a hard worker. She and I have a very good working relationship. We have pretty much the same mindset when it comes to many issues, so we're able to bounce things off of one another. And she has a great administrative team, and her staff and faculty are fabulous as well. And a lot of accolades have come their way this year, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about today.
But you figure that they arrive as 8th grade students. They're still basically kids. And at the end of 4 years, you're ready to send them out into the world on their own.
Yes.
And it's
great to watch them grow.
Transformation, exactly.
Yeah. To watch them grow over the 4 years is remarkable because they do. They come in and even as seniors, they make their fair share of mistakes and they mess up just like as we all do. You know, we all make mistakes, and I think our bottom line to them is always, you know, learn from your mistakes. It's not your first, it's not going to be your last. So
Exactly. Now, how long have you been high school principal?
this is my 10th year.
Did you start with the district as high school principal?
No, actually, I started in the district in January of 2000. I taught math.
Wow.
Actually, Sue Kinney was one of my cooperating practitioners, and she's still there now as my department head, which is kind of funny. But started in 2000, taught for a few years, then I became the assistant principal with Alan Peabody. He was my co-assistant principal, and did that for 4 or 5 years. Went over to Bridgewater Middle School for 1 year as the principal, and then returned to the high school in 2009, 2010. I've been there ever since.
Experience working as a principal before being superintendent.
I have, in
So
fact.
you know firsthand how challenging it is.
And I actually inherited a building from Angela at Bridgewater Middle School, and I became then the principal of Bridgewater Middle School. And yes, I mean that Angela's has a real true lens of what BR is all about, because she's served on so many different positions, from the classroom as a teacher to an assistant principal, now to a principal. And all those experiences help you as a building admin, because you can see it from different perspectives. You understand the teacher perspective, you understand the administrative perspective, and that helps in your decision making, which is essential, especially at the high school level, because as we said, we have tremendous kids, but sometimes tremendous kids can make poor choices. So a lot of times, a lot of difficult decisions and conversation needs to be had between Angela and parents. And again, we have a great working relationship in that we're able to kind of share ideas and come up with a decision that's in the best interest of our kids and the school as a whole.
But in the course of your career at BR, times have changed so much too, and you have so many additional social issues that you have to deal with. And we need to educate the students, but they have to be in good health and spirits in order to do that.
Yes, just the age of social media alone is so different, and it's so different than when I went to school. Now, they are growing up in a very different age. It's very difficult to manage just the social aspects. But I think that's one of the best things about being an administrator. I always say that when you cross from being a teacher into an administrator, you never stop teaching. The content changes. So I'm not teaching math anymore. I always say we teach life lessons. You know, we talk a lot about respect. We talk a lot about making good decisions, and what do you do when you make a bad decision, or what do you do when something doesn't work in your favor? How do you come back from that? You know, how do you build resiliency? How do you build these skills that will help you as you get older?
And I think what ends up happening too is our students are growing up, as Angela just said, in a very different society than we did growing up through our adolescent years. And what's concerning to us at times is, you know, we say to our students all the time and parents, you know, high school, middle school, these are the times where it's safe to fail. It's safe to make some, poor choices. That's part of growing. That's part of maturing. What heightens it is, definitely with the social media piece, because they are kids and they are going to make some missteps along the way. It just gets heightened sometimes when it becomes the topic of conversation on social media, or something is posted and it gets picked up through the traditional media. So there's a lot of things that admin, especially at Angela's level, have to deal with on a daily basis in order to make sure that our kids are protected. Right. We're still trying to guide them to make the good choices, and if they did make a misstep, to learn from that and move forward. They do a tremendous job with that at the high school. We have incredible kids at the high school. We say it all the time. We're so proud of the things that they do. I think a lot of times, unfortunately, the things that hit social media or the media overshadow all the positives that come from that school on a daily basis. We talk about things at our admin council, or we share things when we go to our rave meetings, and you hear about all the incredible things that are happening throughout the district. And unfortunately, those don't really sell headlines and make headlines to sell newspapers. But, just one thing that pops out from an academic standpoint for me about Angela and her teachers and students at the high school is we've just recently been brought and nominated again for the AP Honor Roll, which I'm very proud of Angela and her staff and her students for that. I'm going to allow her to speak a little to that because I don't want to steal her thunder.
It's a great honor, and it's part and parcel from you. Leadership top down. Bottom up, top down. It takes a village here, and it's thanks to the superintendent as well as the school committee support that we're able to offer such great classes. So we were named to the AP Honor Roll this year, which was a great achievement. It's so nice to find out, and I always find out kind of indirectly. This year, one of my guidance counselors said, "Did you know that we got named to the College Board's AP Honor Roll?" No clue. That's excellent. So it's based on participation numbers and trying to increase your overall enrollment, but at the same time maintain a high standard of a score. And a few years back, we opened enrollment for AP. And we said, if a kid wants to take it, let them challenge themselves, let them take it. And we've also been fortunate that we've been able to grow the program. I think we currently have 11 AP courses.
Really?
And I'll be coming to you the end of this month to ask for the 12th, because we're looking to add an AP music theory class, which would make our 12th AP class, which is excellent. So I think this is the third time in 4 years that we were named to the AP Honor Roll, which is fantastic.
And it's a limited number of schools that receive that honor.
I think it was I could be off on the number, I think it was about 414 schools throughout the entire United States and Canada that were named. So it's a pretty lofty accomplishment, and kudos to the AP teachers, but not just the AP teachers, because it's kindergarten up.
Right,
These kids don't just plop into AP. One of the nicest things was I received an email from one of my teachers who said, I really liked the email that you sent thanking all of the teachers. She happened to be an inclusion teacher, and she had a student who was in an inclusion English class in 9th and 10th grade, and then worked his way out 11th grade, 12th grade, AP. Got a passing score on the exam, so it's great. It's really nice to see that. So.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
And what I think was great, and this came from Dr. Forbes, previous to my time at the central office and as the superintendent, to increase those AP offerings, because every student comes into our buildings with different strengths, and your strength may be in the area of math or science or social studies, and now I love the idea about a music theory program. So allowing students that maybe would not go that traditional AP route, allowing them the opportunity to participate in those AP offerings. And I think that's outstanding, because that's what you want to do. You want to have an all-inclusive academic program at every level, but especially at the high school. So kudos to Ms. Watson and her folks.
Absolutely. And finding that area that really excites the student too, that can make all the difference.
Sometimes you never know. It's that one class. You think back on your own high school experience. Was there that one teacher or that one class that really stood out?
How many faculty members do you have?
About 120. About 120
and how many
staff.
Students?
1,466.
Goodness. So that is a huge undertaking.
Yes.
It's a big school.
Yes.
Not to mention just the physical plant itself.
Right.
It's a lot of square footage. I timed it one day just to walk the school and simply just pop it and say just a very quick hello, not even like a walkthrough, just a quick hello. It took me 1 hour just to do the school. It's vast. But those kids get from class to class in 4 minutes.
Amazing.
They've got it down.
Amazing. And you have a good staff, too, that makes everything happen.
Excellent
the way it
staff,
should.
great administrative
Great
team
students.
that works with me. I mean, they make it flow. So, and it's nice. I think we had a visitor come to the school yesterday who's doing some PD with the administrative team, and I said, "Do you want to take a walk around and just get a feel for the school? You get a vibe. Just poke your head into some classrooms, see what it's like." He walked the school. He said, "I'm so impressed." He said, "It's so warm and inviting, but everybody's on task, everybody's on focus." He said, "I'd like to see your passing time." I said, "Really?" Get ready. It's like Grand Central Station, but it works.
It does.
So you have 1,466 kids passing in very small corridors,
goodness.
and he said, "I'm so impressed." He said, "I love it." And the greatest thing is the whole admin team was out there. Everybody's talking to kids. I mean, that's my big thing. You want the climate of your school to be a warm, inviting place.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Excellent. What are some of the other exciting things going on at our high school this year?
Oh, there's so many. I love this high school.
know.
So we kicked off the year with something that the guidance department put together, and I love this. It was new. It was called Passport to Your Future. It was for the senior class. It kicked off a week-long series of events. So every day the guidance department hosted or they sponsored a different event. So they did some career searches, Common App, helping kids fill out their Common App. They did some resume writing, interview skills. We offered the ASVAB test. They had different college professors come in and speak to the kids about the admissions process. And it culminated at the end of the week with our annual college fair. So it was a college and career fair. We had over 100 schools, universities,
Really?
military academies, trade schools, all there representing. We do it at night, so the parents can come as well, and it's just a great event. So it was a nice, positive way to kick off the school
Excellent.
year. And then a little later on in the fall, we were named to college AP Honor Roll, which was great. When our MCAS scores came out, they were higher than they've ever been. So each year, we just keep incrementally raising that bar.
What do you attribute that to, Angela?
The
lot of hard
incremental
work,
changes,
obviously.
lot of hard work. You know, we try to put the teachers and the kids in the best positions possible. It depends on the content area. So I'll use English, for example. We knew that if there was a focus area, because even though our scores were great, you always want to say, how can we improve? How can we break through that ceiling that we kind of have plateaued? We were at around the 94th percentile, so 94% advanced and proficient. It's great, but how can we get higher? And the only thing that we came a little below the state on was writing, which seemed a little weird. My department head, his name's Mike Hayhurst, he's fantastic, worth his weight in gold. Did a huge analysis, we sat down, we talked a lot about writing. And he decided, hey, I think we should institute writing portfolios. Started. So now a child in 9th grade has, I think, 4 or 5 samples that go into their writing portfolio. The next year it gets turned over to the 10th grade teacher. The 10th grade teacher carries it forward, and they keep adding it. The emphasis on writing. We did a big emphasis across the board on writing as well, not just in English. You know, it shouldn't just fall on your English department. The science department did a fantastic job analyzing the MCAS scores, analyzing the test results. Do we have any holes in our curriculum? Where can we improve? We try to offer supplemental, kind of like remedial type classes to kind of help assist the kids in their knowledge base to get them passed. These kids are tested a lot throughout all of the grades, from like 3rd grade up. But I mean, at the high school level, they take the biology exam in 9th grade. They take math and English in 10th grade. The exams are multiple days long, and so it's a lot of testing. But the teachers do a great job. The kids take it very seriously. It's not a fluff type thing. They're very nervous about it. You know, and that's a shame. You see a lot of anxiety kind of across the board, test anxiety.
Right. But obviously, from what you're saying,
They're doing
too,
a
there's
great
a
job.
purpose to those tests, too.
Absolutely.
It's
Yes.
not just taking tests for the sake of taking tests. You can gather information from that to help improve. So that's very
And I
important.
think what Angela started off by saying that, you know, when we talked about AP, you talk about it being not something that the 9 through 12 folks do, but it's a K-12 approach. And that's what I think, you know, we have throughout this district. And then Angela and her team can take what that foundation that has been built, K-8, and build upon that. And they've done a wonderful job with that. But I will say, I think a lot, we're looking at, data district-wide, and we're seeing an increase in our scores. And I think that has a lot to do with, thanks to the support of our communities and the school committee, and Mr. Powers, who's our assistant superintendent who handles curriculum, and the last guy who handled curriculum, and
Which would be this guy right there.
and just a lot of the resources that we've brought in. When I first started in the district, I mean, we had very limited resources. We had a lot of budgetary situations. I think a lot of that has to do to the turnaround with Kathy Macedo, who was our director of business services, the former superintendent, Dr. Forbes, and they got the budget right, and then we were able to bring in resources, and over time, we're really truly improving that academic experience, students K-8, and then when they get up to the high school, Angela and her incredible staff are then taking those students with that strong foundation and then improving upon it with some of the things that they're doing with the writing portfolio, which I think is outstanding. And as Angela said, it shouldn't just be an emphasis on the ELA teachers teaching writing. Writing in reading should be cross-curricular. And, writing in social studies, writing in science, and writing even in mathematics. You have open response and open math in mathematics. Assessment. So they've done a fabulous job with this, and you see the growth of them academically, but also from an academic standpoint. But they have such great social opportunities for our students. As she just said, a student population of over 1,400. A staff of over 120. That's a lot of folks with a lot of different backgrounds and a lot of different interests. So it's important that the high school offers an array of extracurricular, athletic, clubs, those types of things, and they do a fabulous job with that as well. So I don't know if Ms. Watson wants to talk a little bit about that.
Sure, no, that's it's exciting to be in a high school this size. I think I take it for granted because I haven't worked anywhere else. BR's been my home since 2000. But I love it. I mean, and the kids are involved in so many things. So you've got your school-based things. One of our one big event that's coming up soon in March, actually, is TJ Squared. So we're going to be hosting the big competition again. We got to do that last year, and that was fun. And the superintendent and I got to kick that off, and Liz Califf runs the robotics team with some coaches and upwards of 50 to 60 kids involved, and it's amazing. Again, they build a robot. I'm still not sure how that happens. Our kids are brilliant. They blow my mind. And so we do offer a lot of extracurricular activities. It's not just, and I'll touch on the athletics because that's always a hot topic too. But it's nice to see that the kids can get involved in many different things, whether it's a photography club, a foreign language club. And it's nice that so many of our teachers step forward to just volunteer to do things that, aren't necessarily, either paid positions or anything like that, but they just volunteer. A chess club. A reading club. My adjustment counselor last year did a creative writing club on Fridays, and so you really tap in to the interests from many different kids.
That's excellent.
Athletics are always a huge thing at BR. It's a Division I school. The kids do great. The most recent accomplishment, if you have not heard, is our varsity cheerleaders brought home a national title. I don't know what we're going to do with the trophy. If you've seen you've got to come to the high school to see this trophy. It stands over 5 feet tall.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. So there's no shelf that we could possibly put this on. There's no cabinet that I can put it in. I'm not sure.
Really?
Ladies, I don't know where it's going, but we'll find a spot. It's over 5 feet tall. Huge banner, so they don't know this yet, but we're going to surprise them. I'm going to call them all down tomorrow. We're going to do a little luncheon for them next Friday, just to say congratulations. They've just done a tremendous job, and they're a good story. They're a team that's worked together for many years. They have overcome some things this year to work together as a team, and they really persevered through. And that's the mantra, one team, one family, stick together, work together. You need to keep that trust, you need to build that support, and they did, and they kicked butt this year, and they went down to Dallas, and they wanted it, and they got close last year, and kudos to Tiffany Manhart, because she's really just taken this team to a whole nother level, and she's just a phenomenal asset to the school, so.
And
they've
that
done great.
builds community spirit as well as
Huge.
it's so good, that team spirit, as you said. So important.
You know, it's great, and there's just so many different ways to get involved, and we tell the kids that all the time, especially at the freshman orientation. Get involved. It doesn't matter what you do, what you like. There will be something for you, and I always say, if there's nothing, create it. Create it, because these 4 years, I tell them, it's going to be what you make of it.
Right.
If you want to graduate, and on the day of graduation, oh, school was awful, I hated it, you had a large part in that. You know, we make our own experiences, so get involved.
Excellent. And those extracurricular activities too could lead to a career opportunity.
Definitely,
So,
definitely. Sometimes it amazes kids. They had no idea they were interested in something until they tried a sport, or maybe they tried an activity, or even taking academic classes. Sometimes you might be a kid that's like, I'm not going to take a music class. I don't want to take a music class. And then circumstances happen and you take this music class, and now you fall in love. And now you're kicking yourself saying, oh, I wish I took more music classes, or I wish I took more business classes, or I wish I got involved. We have a business teacher. His name's David Ferreira. Phenomenal. We're lucky to have him. He came on board, and he's like, I want to start a DECA business club.
wonderful. Yes.
Up and running. The man, he's taken these kids to competition. We've got kids that made it to like the national level. And another thing that he started last year was like a career life fair. I was like, what is this? What do you want to bring in? And he tapped into local organizations and businesses, and people volunteered to come in, and we did it with the juniors. We're going to do it again. The juniors, they get a budget.
Wonderful.
Their budget's based on a career that they think they might want, and then they have to go station by station and either find an apartment, get a car, what's your transportation going to be? And kids go in with big dreams. They're like, I'm going to get that 3-bedroom apartment, and I want this and I want that. And then they look when they go to the advisor, and she punches in the numbers and says, not even close. And they're like, what do you mean not even close? Oh boy. All right. So the 2-bedroom just went down to a 1-bedroom, and the 1-bedroom became, will you be my roommate? And the budgeting skills. It's awesome, and the kids loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it, and it was great. So we're going to be doing it again this year.
Excellent.
So that'll be a lot of fun.
Mr. Powers and I attended that event.
Yes.
It was interesting to see the mindset of a 16-year-old who wants to go into education, which I say, go into education, and then says, but I want to have a Mercedes convertible. I said,
Nope.
Go into education, but you may not have that Mercedes convertible right away.
Settle for?
Oh,
Right,
exactly.
so that's an authentic learning opportunity, and that's what I love about the high school. They provide authentic learning opportunities for our kids. So the things that they're learning in the classroom, they can apply in some type of program like that. TJ Squared is an authentic learning opportunity. They learn things in the classroom, and then they can apply those engineering type skills into that setting. What's so great at the high school too is we have an incredible celebration of the arts there as well. We have the drama club. We have Rainwater, which is outstanding.
Yes.
Our marching band
Oh,
is growing. And that's something that's so exciting for us, because going back to the time when there were some budgetary issues, a lot of the things like the arts kind of had to take a back seat for a little bit, and that really, really hurt the growth of the program at the high school level. Dr. Forbes really made a commitment in her time to start to bring the music programs back, hiring someone to do instrumental lessons during the day, offering instrumental lessons after school. And we're seeing now the benefits of that, in that the marching band numbers are growing exponentially, and that's it's a good thing to have. Right now, it's okay. Do we have the staffing and some of the monies that we need to support it? So that's part of the budget that my preliminary budget that I just presented to the school committee, and the school committee has now. We're trying to work it out within the operational budget to support that program. But if Angela, you just talk a little bit about the marching band and some of the exciting
They're
things that
so
they've
impressive.
done.
They really are.
They're excellent. They're excellent. And I
Yeah.
think it was only a few years ago when I think there were 5 or 7
Yeah.
kids, and they were pulling from 5th graders up, and I
Yes.
thought, oh boy. And I remember people telling me, oh, back in the day, BR's marching band was 120 strong. And I thought, and I saw their uniforms, so it was proof. I'm like, I know it was there. what happened? You know, and that's it. If you don't have a feeder program, and if you
Right.
can't build into it, you can't possibly build a program. And with the feeder programs back, as Mr. Swenson said, it's exponential growth. So I think in 2 or 3 years, they're predicted to have over 100 kids
Really?
in this program. And I thought, wow, that would be great. But just to show where they've come from, like you're talking 5 to 7 kids up to this year they played in Washington, D.C.
See, I know.
I mean, wow, what an incredible experience for the kids. But then to hear them play. So when the band was playing at pep rally, they always do like the warm-up music when all the kids are coming in, and we're getting ready to set things up, and the sports teams run into songs that they pick from the radio, and we couldn't get it to work. And I was listening to the band play, and I thought, I hope it doesn't work. They're unbelievable. They were playing like the Star Wars theme song. Like, what is going on? Where did you guys come from? This is amazing. And I went over to Jillian Griffin and I said, if we can't get that to work, can you guys keep playing? She's like, definitely.
Really?
I'm like, secretly, I hope the radio doesn't work because they were so impressive. And I went over, I'm fist bumping them like, you guys are kicking butt. This is great. You're just floored by their talent.
Right.
You know, and you see a lot of that also when they do the big art festival. And today I was walking the halls, and Shirley Wood has some artwork up from some of the kids, and I took a double take because I thought, is that a high school kid's work? It's unbelievable. They are unbelievably talented.
And our drama presentations, our rainwater players are just
Better than Broadway.
Absolutely, they
They're
really
better
are.
than Broadway.
Yeah, they really
They are. You know, and those kids, they work really, really hard, and the producers work really hard. You know, Kelly Barron and Lisa White do a phenomenal program with these kids, and Scott Philly, and they put a lot of time and effort in, but yeah, it's a job well done. I never leave there, you know, unimpressed.
And sometimes you sit in the audience and you forget that you're at a high
Yes.
school
Oh,
production.
absolutely.
In the actual, you know, acting and singing and the production itself, but the sets, the costumes
sets
that
are
they do.
beautiful.
Lisa White does a fabulous job with that, and she's so dedicated. And we have so many night events throughout the course of the year at the high school with school committee and different things that we go to attend. You know, at the high school at night, and you see those rainwater players, and they're there every night until 10 o'clock some nights. And these are kids that, you know, and I remember last year with one of the performances was a student athlete, then would, you know, have to go to production, you know, meetings and things and rehearsals until 10 o'clock. You know,
wonder
and still
how
get
they
the
do
homework
everything,
done.
yeah.
Right.
But I think it's just their love of it, because
right.
Lisa and the folks there make it such a welcoming environment for that population of students. So we're very fortunate to have all these things at the high school.
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely. Believe it or not, we're almost running out of time, but a really quick minute. I know you do a lot with community service too. I'm always
Yes.
impressed with all of the
Yes.
community efforts and
Yes.
charitable works that our kids at the high school do.
So the kids are involved in so many things, and a lot of the things even fly below my radar. So they're doing things even on their own that we find out about afterwards. I'm like, really? You really did that? So the most recent thing is a mother reached out to me 2 days ago and said that her daughter wants to do like a jean drive. So you collect slightly used or worn jeans, like blue jeans, and they all get donated. Kids are donating, you know, wellness products. The NHS, which is the National Honor Society, they do drives throughout the year, whether it's, you know, Toys for Tots or the Hunger Drive. Kids are always coming forward saying they want to do things. This year, kids from the music program wanted to sell the AIDS ribbons for AIDS awareness and support. And all of these initiatives are... the kids aren't doing this and saying, hey, then will you fill out my community service
Right.
form? It's got nothing to do with that. They genuinely give back to
Look
the communities.
for opportunities, right? It's excellent.
And they do a great job. You know, one of the biggest community service events, I think, and they do not do this for the hours, is the Special Olympics basketball. That is huge, to the point where I think last year she had to actually turn kids away because we had so many kids. It's nice. You know, our kids, they have good hearts.
Absolutely, and that's so important. We are out of time. Thank you so much for being
thank
with
you
us.
very
Can we
much.
have you come
Thank
back
you,
again?
Ms. Watson.
Our guest today, Miss Angela Watson, our high school principal.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Swenson.
Thank you, Ms.
We'll
Riley.
be back on our next episode of the BR Connection. Be sure to join us.